Good morning. I grew up unchurched in a small town in Illinois, 2,900 people, and chose to take a college career in Chicago. As you can imagine, a small town boy in a big city has a lot of time to get in trouble. And when you're unchurched, you have a lot more opportunity to get in trouble. And I did, and I could say, truthfully, that I, like Paul, was one of the best at sinning. And when I look back on my life at that time, it scares me because I knew, even though the memories are faint now, I still knew that I was in trouble. And I think about my life now with Christ versus what it would be now without Christ. And I am really scared of what that possibility was. But I had a dramatic change in my life when I met Marlene, and after 15 years of marriage, we went to a marriage encounter weekend in St. Louis, Missouri at age 40, and I found out on that weekend how much God could love me. Because as I revealed some of these things out of my background to Marlene and saw that despite the blackness of what I was revealing, she could still love me, it suddenly dawned on me that that's how God loves. That he loves completely. He didn't ask me to get better. He didn't ask me to change. He just asked me to come and be with him. And it was like an electrical shock. It just ran completely through my body, and I felt cleansed. I really didn't have any idea what had happened. We came back from that weekend with a marriage that was confirmed and firm, and I came back a changed mind. I came back with a great desire to know God. And somewhere along the line, someone had told me that if you want to read the Bible and find out about God, you start in the Gospel of John. Well, you don't get very far in the Gospel of John until you come to chapter 3. And that's the chapter that tells you you must be born again. And I realized what had happened on that weekend, that I was no longer the same, that I was changed. And it's... I've been committed myself then to Christ and been following him for the last 35 years. I would love to tell you all the things that he's allowed me to do in this period of 35 years, but there are just so many, so varied. He allowed me a teaching ministry, a music ministry, a seminary experience, foreign service in Spain, all kinds of opportunities that God has allowed me to participate in that 35 years. But they've ended probably right here in this church in the position of chairman of your board of deacons, and I couldn't be happier than serving in that capacity. When I was in, one of the positions I had during that time was coordinator of a crusade for Phoenix, Arizona, and a ministry year of my life that I thought was the greatest year of my life because 6,000 people made decisions for Christ during that crusade. And I thought that's the top. I'll never have another year like that. But I think that's wrong. I think this year will be my greatest ministry year. You know, the book of Ecclesiastes tells us very clearly that our life comes in segments. And one of the segments that's pointed out is there's a time to live and there's a time to die. And I might paraphrase that a bit and say there's a time to live and there's a time for God. At the time, and as my time grows older, I find that intensifies in my life. I believe the medical community, and the medical community seems to agree also, that it's a really good possibility that I will see Jesus face to face in the next 6 to 8 months. So you must be thinking, well, then how could this possibly be the greatest ministry year of your life? When Marlene and I heard that it was cancer, that it was not curable, there was no apprehension. Our minds quickly settled in on Romans 8:28, where it says, we realize that this cancer was part of the all things that Romans 8:28 talks about. He says that all things work to good for those who know the Lord. Each time the news gets a little worse, but the peace just intensifies. And we wonder at the love of God. We wonder that he can be that strong tower, which he is, where we can run to, and we can find protection, and we can find love, and we can find care. And then when we're refreshed and we come out and meet challenges again, we know we can always run back, because that strong tower is always there for us, for our protection. And he's there. Randy Alcorn has a great illustration of Romans 8:28 that I want to share with you. His mother was a famous baker of chocolate cakes, and she had a habit of taking all the ingredients out and putting them on the counter as she prepared to mix them. And he thought, as a little boy, those must really taste good, because the cakes were just fantastic. So he came along and stuck his finger in each one of those and tasted each of those ingredients. Now, you ladies that are cooks know that some of those ingredients taste pretty bad, don't they? But somehow, when his mother mixed all of those ingredients together, a great metamorphosis took place, and a beautiful chocolate cake emerged, which was delicious. You know, our lives are like those ingredients, aren't they? Some of them just taste horrible. They're distasteful, they're ugly. But somehow, God in his wisdom can take those things, have them made up, bake a beautiful chocolate cake for his enjoyment. You know, this cancer doesn't taste good, doesn't feel good, but it's apparently a necessary ingredient for my cake. And I trust God to use it in the baking. Just a couple of little things. I read a little bit about John Wesley's ministry in the early Methodist Church, and you know, the Methodists were known for one thing at that time that made them outstanding. They were known for dying well. They died well. They died with hope. It was such a contrast to the way other people died that it became a great conviction, and many people became believers because of watching how the Methodists dealt with death. They died well. Well, God filled my heart with hope 35 years ago, and now I want to die well. And I want you to help me. And you are helping me. You pray for me. You lift me up. Gosh, I get more hugs and love. It's just incredible. And I understand that God could completely heal me. He could do a divine healing at any time, and that would be a great joy if I was allowed many years to be here with you. But I'm also understand that that's completely in his hands. Marlene and I have committed to serve him as well as we can each day. Each day. We trusted him yesterday for today, and he's been faithful. We'll trust him today for tomorrow, knowing he'll be faithful there also. And we'll trust him for all the days in the future. The result of relying on him has allowed us the greatest joy and the deepest relationship in our 50 years of marriage. I know that sounds strange, but that's true. He has opened up doors for conversations with unbelievers that were closed before. Social media allows us to tell our story to hundreds and thousands of people around the country, around our country and around the world. And the results of those contacts are amazing in what we hear coming back to us. I'm going to just quote you one. A young pastor friend whom I met just once in my life has asked me something that just exploded my mind. He said, when you arrive in heaven and have fellowshiped with your friends and your family, would you ask to see Louise Dixon Hardy? She's my grandma, and I love her so much. I miss her so much. And I said, would you just tell her that for me and tell her I'll see her very soon? And I thought, wow, is that even possible? Could I do that? What if I forget the message? Then I remembered I'm going to have a perfect memory, and I'm going to have to worry about forgetting the message. Now, I said, what a wonderful thing to be able to do. And what a beautiful service to offer to all of you. Now, he could take that message directly to Jesus' throne. He knows that, and I know that. We have instant access to that throne, and he could put that message through Jesus. But I wonder if it's possible for me to take that message also. And I wonder if I could take your message to someone you love at the same time. If you'd like me to do that, let me know, because I'll remember what you tell me, and I'll take it to him. And I'd be happy to share that with you. I love you guys. Thanks.